Hi, we just finished meeting for Wednesday night's intonation practice, and it's Wednesday, April 14th. And let's get started with the first tab that has sentences and phrases and groups of words because we're listening for which word should be emphasized with higher pitch, longer duration, and if there's any connections and sound changes possible. So the first one, we'll see you at English class next week. We'll see you at English class next week. At English. You know what? I wouldn't say at. If you don't say the T at all, at English. If you do say the T, it will change to a D. So I'll make that at English. Oh, wheel. I changed wheel to will because we rarely say wheel perfectly. It gets a little more relaxed. Will. We'll see you at English class next week. We'll see you at English class next week. I think it'll snow later. So it'll, the T changes to a D, and the K from think will connect over to the I. I think it'll. I think it'll. I think it'll snow later. Charles hasn't taken out the trash yet. Charles hasn't, I don't know why I didn't divide that into syllables. Hasn't, oops, hasn't. Charles hasn't taken out the trash yet. Charles hasn't taken out the trash yet. Da 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 da. And the can positive and can't negative are always difficult. But if you can hear the vowel ah, it's negative. If you can't hear the vowel ah, it's positive, like I can. But it goes by very quickly, can, because you're not emphasizing it. You're usually emphasizing the thing that you can do. In this case, it's a very short sentence. So we first put it on do. I can do that. I can, I can, I can. It goes by super fast, can. And now do is important. I can do that. And if you put it on I, who can do that? I can do that. I, higher and longer. I can do that. If it's negative, you will emphasize the negative word can't, but you won't say the T. So it will sound like can, but that's negative. So it will sound like I can't do that. And if you move your head, that helps a lot too. I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Can't. That's it. You hold your tongue in the in position instead of releasing it for the T. I can't. However, if you want to be very clear, then say it very clearly. I can't do that. And if you want to add more extra help, oh, I can do that. Positive. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. And we didn't get to these, I'm sorry, but I will just say them. Can you say that again? Kenya. Kenya goes by very fast. Can you say that again? Before the fall. Before the fall. It puts me at unease. It puts me at unease. I'm going to add unease. I'm going to change that T to a D. It puts me at unease. It puts me at unease. Murder her. That's a lot of So actually, I'll write it right here because murder her. It's all I don't know why it's all bold. Murder her. Your tongue is curled back, has to go up for the D and then right back to the R. Murder her. And after you say der, hold it in the R position to say her. So your tongue should be pulled back in the R position almost the whole time, only going up to touch for the D. So if you need to say this, murder her. Furthermore, it's the same. The FU is actually FER. So furthermore, furthermore, further. Elephant in the room, elephant in the room, elephant in the room. I'm not going to say that T at all. Elephant in the room. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. It'll be cold today. You better wear a coat. Oh, that was the example for it'll. I hope I can convince you I am the best candidate by this slide. I hope I I kind of said can, but I hope I can convince you I hope I can convince you and I am the best candidate by, I hope I can convince you I am the best candidate by this slide. Candidate, candidate, no D's. I think you're right. I wouldn't say I think, well, I think you are right. But most of the time I would say I think you're right and make a contraction. And with words, firmware. This is the oh, why do I have the wrong the stressed vowel is the er combination firmware. And the second part is where, like air, where, firmware. And number 5, I moved down here to make them individual because each of them is different. And this is really the American version of the Spanish word. So it doesn't sound Spanish at all. Most of the time, pordo, and a lot of the times the O at the end will change to an because we're connecting it to Rico. So Puerto Rico. You don't even hear the O. Pordo. It'll sound like duh. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. And if it's a person, Puerto Rican. Puerto Rican. And back up to the top. We talked about contractions tonight and making them a little more lazy instead of having the high vowel E, like the vowel diagram. Instead of your tongue in a very high position for E, we can make it a little lower, like I. And it's okay. It will change the sound, but in context with the sentence and people around you, you will know. So instead of I'll with I, we do say I'll. You can be a little more lazy. You still have to have the two parts, I'll. But for 7, 8, and 9, you can be more lazy. Instead of she'll be here, you can say she'll. She'll be here. She'll be right here, is what we practiced. She'll be right here. Instead of we'll be right here. We'll be right there. Instead of he'll be right there. So in context, it makes sense. And there's things you can do with speaking with contractions and making things shorter than you can in writing. So we wouldn't be able to so much in writing, but in speaking, we can say water. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? And it's water. And I learned that the more common pronunciation is with an or, mentored. And I'm not going to say the D, mentored. I'm just going to hold my tongue in the D position, mentored. But my whole life, I've been saying it the possible but less common way with an mentored, mentored, which does sound like men turd. And 12, bird, bird. The vowel is the R sound, really, just your tongue in the R position, like her, bird. And that same vowel is in chirping, chirping, chirping. And 13, often. You can say it without the T, and that is most common, often. But it is possible some people say it with a T, often. And it's not wrong, and it's not too casual. It's not slang. It's just different parts of the country, different people saying it different ways. So it's not it's not wrong. You can say it either way you like, often, and you can say it often. Birds with a Z. If it's plural, it looks like an S, but it sounds like a Z. Birds. So your voice is already on for the vowel and then a D, so keep it on for the Z. Birds. You should feel vibration the whole time. The B, the E, the R, the D, the Z. Birds. Open. And the question was, should it be pin or pen? Open. But the PEN is not stressed, so that makes it more likely to change to a I, pin, or an pun, open. So that's it. It's going to be shorter because it's not stressed and you won't hear the big difference. Pronunciation. I forgot to put the stress syllable here. And it's way over here. by itself because the stress is on the second to last syllable. Pronunciation. Any word that ends with shun, Tion, Cion, Sion, the syllable before is almost always going to be stressed. So it's 5 syllables, stress on the fourth syllable, pronunciation. Pronunciation. And that's different than the vowel in 21, which is pronounce. The PRO is changing to pr because it's not stressed. Pronounce. Pronounce. Ow is the vowel. Pronounce. How do you pronounce pronunciation? Well, it was really fun practicing with you guys tonight, and I hope to see you again Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or all three. That would be awesome. Have a good night.